In my past life, my younger sister Emily was given to an abusive man by her first love. Yet she still chose to marry him. Throughout her marriage, she endured domestic violence. I urged her to divorce, but she refused. Eventually, she begged our parents to let her and her son move into my home for safety. During that time, she seduced my husband Michael and taught her son to call my child-free spouse daddy. Just as I was about to kick them out, David and his gang broke in. They assaulted me and slit my throat. After my death, they showed no remorse. With our parents' encouragement, David even merged his family with Michael's and had a daughter together. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back on the day Emily called me crying about being abused. The phone rang insistently. As I answered, Emily's tearful voice came through, "Sis, David hit me again." Sobs, "What should I do?" That sentence confirmed my rebirth. My mind reeled as I stayed silent. Emily kept crying. "They even hurt Lucas." Clenching the phone, I forced calm into my voice. "If you're being abused, call the police. They'll handle it. I've got things to do." I hung up before she could respond. Looking around the empty house, Michael wasn't home yet. I collapsed on the couch, trembling with suppressed rage. This was the exact day everything had started going wrong last time. In the previous timeline, Emily had claimed David drugged and assaulted her before their marriage. Our timid parents had been secretly relieved when she accepted his $100,000 dowry, twice our local standard, calling it proper courtship. I'd been the only voice urging legal action. But Emily insisted, "He's got connections everywhere. I can't fight him." The truth emerged later. She'd reveled in being called Mrs. Wilson, enjoying the street credibility until the beatings started after Lucas turned 2. David's cycle of abuse followed familiar patterns: violence, tearful apologies, foot massages, expensive gifts. By the time Lucas turned 10, David's gangster empire crumbled. But the domestic terror continued. Now, watching sunlight filter through the curtains, I vowed this rebirth would write different endings. Let the police handle their mess. This time, I'd protect my own family. Because he was a terrible person, ruthless in his actions, and targeted by constant crackdowns. Many of David Wilson's crew members abandoned him. As his finances dwindled, he grew increasingly bitter and drowned himself in alcohol. Every time he came home, he'd beat Emily savagely, leaving her bruised and battered. David didn't even spare his own son Lucas, beating them both mercilessly. Broke and unable to buy apology gifts, David could only kneel weeping at Emily's feet, offering foot baths as pathetic peace offerings. This drove Emily to constantly vent to us. In our previous life, when she complained to me, I didn't invite her to stay at my house. I just urged her to divorce him. But she refused. What shocked me was how our parents pressured her to endure the abuse for the sake of family reputation. When she tried returning to our parents' home after another beating, they turned her away to save face. Desperate, Emily begged our parents to bring her and her son to my place. My parents saw this as the perfect solution, preserving their image while saving her. They moved them into my home without consulting me. I initially objected, even using my husband Michael's supposed dislike of children as an excuse. But shockingly, Michael agreed after seeing them, claiming they deserved compassion. My parents' guilt tripped me about abandoning my sister. So I relented. Since Michael and I had agreed to remain child-free, we had spare bedrooms. Once settled, Emily began shamelessly cozying up to Michael. She took over cooking his favorite meals, did his laundry, and served him like a maid, all while wearing sheer lingerie around the house. When I confronted her about the inappropriate attire, she shrugged. "This is how I dress at home. Besides, I packed in a hurry." Even after offering my clothes, she kept parading around half naked. I noticed Michael's gaze lingering longer each day. Worse, Emily started making Lucas call Michael daddy. The man who'd sworn off parenthood now glowed with paternal pride whenever he heard it. I decided to kick them out. But that night David ambushed me after work. He dragged me into an alley, snarling, "Since your precious husband keeps stealing my woman, Let's see how he likes his wife getting used. Before assaulting me and slitting my throat. As I bled out, everything became clear. Michael had been intercepting David this whole time. My death got David executed, removing the last obstacle. With my parents' encouragement, Emily married Michael and even bore him a daughter. My murder became their romantic origin story. My memory erased like yesterday's trash. But now I've been reborn. This time, I'll let that backstabbing homewrecker face her abuser's wrath alone. Not my circus. Not my monkeys anymore. I thought if I didn't persuade Emily to divorce this time, she wouldn't try to move into my house like in my past life. But 2 days later, she showed up at my door with my parents anyway. The moment they entered, they wore grim expressions. Emily had bruises on her face, and Lucas had injuries on his hands. My father acted like a lord, plopping onto the couch without a word, while my mother played the peacemaker. Olivia, your sister and nephew were beaten by that heartless David. We thought they could stay here for a while. I refused outright. This isn't suitable. They should stay with you, after all. You're Emily's parents. Their faces darkened. Dad finally spoke. Your mother and I are too old. We can barely cook for ourselves, let alone take care of them. Mom chimed in, and our place is too small. Yours is much bigger. Just then, Michael walked in. He froze at the scene, but his eyes lit up when he spotted Emily. He sidled up to me, asking, "Honey, are your parents here for dinner?" His words were directed at me, but his gaze stayed glued to Emily. So this was when his obsession started in our past life, and I'd never noticed. Suppressing fury, I replied. No. Emily and Lucas were beaten by David. Our parents want them to live here. Turning to them, I added, it's not that I'm heartless, but Michael dislikes kids. It'd be awkward. In truth, I'd used this exact excuse before, and he'd caved. But this time, I wanted to test him. Predictably, Michael flushed and protested. Olivia, since when do I hate kids? Not wanting our own doesn't mean I'd turn away family. He reassured my parents, we have 2 guest rooms. They're welcome to stay. No. I object. I cut him off mid-sentence. The room fell silent. Emily immediately burst into theatrical tears. If my own sister hates me this much, we'll just go home and let David kill us. Lucas followed her lead, wailing pitifully. Their performance reminded me of Lucas's words after my death in the past life, good riddance. If Aunt Olivia hadn't gotten Dad arrested, we'd still be getting beaten. Even Emily had smirked. I should thank my sister. Really? I stared coldly at their crocodile tears. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught Michael watching Emily, his gaze soft with unmistakable concern. How many times had they met behind my back? Had David's surveillance been the only thing stopping him? Now that Emily was free, was he finally revealing his true feelings? The thought of my husband lusting after my sister for years turned my stomach. Mom exploded first. How can you be so cruel? She's your sister. Dad leapt up, finger quivering as he shouted, you owe her this. Who else will help her? Sister? A sister who seduced my husband? Who married him 3 months after my accidental death and had his child within a year. Their relief at my funeral had felt like daggers. So I smiled sweetly. Who else? You're her parents. Why can't you protect your own daughter? My voice sharpened. Or are you too scared David will come after you next? I learned to fight fire with fire. You tried to emotionally blackmail me, so I'll use the same tactic right back. The selfish schemes in their hearts were instantly exposed by me. Their faces flushed crimson, too ashamed to look at Emily and Lucas. Emily's eyes flickered with disappointment, but she quickly shifted her hopeful gaze toward Michael. A woman's sixth sense is never wrong. She'd clearly known about Michael's interest in her all along, which explained her expectant expression as she stared at him. My parents fell silent under my accusations, their eyes also pleading with Michael. Michael immediately straightened up and turned to me. Honey, she's your own sister. Don't be so heartless. I glared at him before rushing to the floor-to-ceiling window, climbing onto the balcony railing. If you force them to move in, I'll jump right now. The threat paralyzed them all. Fear of actual tragedy finally drove my parents to flee with Emily and Lucas in tow. Michael shot me a disgusted look. "Olivia. I never knew you could be this cruel." He stormed out after them. Following discreetly, I watched from the apartment complex courtyard as Michael intercepted the group. "Olivia's lost her mind. But don't worry, there's another vacant unit 2 buildings over. I'll take you there." My parents grasped his hands gratefully. "Michael. You're our savior. Our daughter and grandson owe you their lives." Basking in their praise, Michael waved modestly. "It's nothing. Really." Emily gazed at him with starry-eyed admiration before hesitating. "But what if my sister finds out?" Michael's eyes darted toward my hiding spot. I ducked behind a pillar just in time. "Relax," he reassured her. "Olivia never goes to that apartment. She'll never know." As they disappeared into the neighboring building, I walked away coldly. This betrayal would have shattered my past self. But after reliving my tragic death in that previous life, all I felt was icy resolve. Let Michael hide Emily and her son there, it only strengthened my divorce case against him. 4 days. I pretended ignorance of his secret visits. His behavior grew suspicious, late returns from work, skipped dinners, obvious trips to Emily's apartment. While Michael worked and Emily took Lucas to school, I installed hidden cameras throughout both residences, every room, hallway, and entrance. 10 days later, I dropped the bomb. "Let's divorce." Shock distorted Michael's features. "Olivia. Why? What did I do?" Had I not witnessed his revolting surveillance footage, I might have believed his act. The recordings showed Michael cooking elaborate meals for Emily and Lucas, this from a man who'd never boiled water for me. The boy called him daddy while Emily paraded in increasingly revealing outfits, their lingering glances culminating in a kitchen embrace that defied all decency. Meeting his feigned innocence, I replied frostily, "I want children. Let's divorce so I can find a real man to start a family." I left his dirty secret unspoken, for now. The cameras kept rolling, because I felt this evidence wasn't even necessary for divorcing him. Besides, keeping it serves a greater purpose. Michael froze momentarily, a flicker of delight flashing in his eyes. He's probably thinking the divorce would free him to be with Emily, right? Yet he still feigned reluctance, offering that half-hearted refusal. "Don't do this, honey. Even though I'm child-free, we could adopt." Humph. What a pathetic excuse. In our previous life, he'd fathered a daughter with Emily. Back when he first proposed being child-free, he claimed it was to spare me childbirth pain. I thought it stemmed from love. Turns out he simply didn't want children with me. Though fully aware of his insincerity, I continued the charade. "Michael, I don't want adopted children. I need to experience motherhood myself. This house you bought after marriage, I won't claim it during the divorce. You needn't worry about me taking your assets. As for Unit 12, though smaller, I contributed most to its purchase. That one should go to me." His face paled at the mention of the unit. Not because he feared losing property, but because Emily currently lived there. My move had truly blindsided him. Stalling desperately, he pleaded, "Must we rush this? Could you give me a few days to consider?" I smiled coolly. "Of course." He bolted to Emily after our tense dinner. Through the surveillance feed, I watched him urgently pull her into the bedroom. "Emily, pack immediately. Take Lucas, I'm moving you both to a hotel. Olivia wants the unit in the divorce." The panicked girl stammered through tears, "Okay, but where will we live after?" "Michael?" He embraced her reassuringly, "Stay at the hotel temporarily. Once the divorce finalizes, I'll bring you home." She kissed him gratefully before scrambling to pack. Michael followed behind, meticulously erasing traces of their presence, determined to leave no evidence for when I moved in. They departed after restoring the unit's original state, presumably checking into the hotel. Michael returned late that night. Since my rebirth, I'd deliberately avoided intimacy. Now that he'd tasted forbidden fruit with Emily, our impending divorce made separate bedrooms inevitable. The next morning, he announced abruptly, I've decided. If motherhood matters this much to you, I'll sign the papers. That unit's been vacant. I had cleaners prepare it yesterday, you can move anytime. How considerate. Had I not watched him scrub the place himself through the cameras? Feigning urgency, I grabbed random clothes. We'll finalize the divorce papers when I return. My company needs me in C-City immediately, emergency business trip. Before his stunned expression, I dashed out. When are you coming back? He called after me, probing for information. Slipping shoes on hurriedly. I replied, whenever work permits. No set date. I drove straight to C-City, checked into a hotel, and leisurely sipped coffee while monitoring the cameras. Truthfully, I'd taken annual leave last night. This was merely a getaway. On screen, Michael paced restlessly during his call with Emily, no idea when she'll return. Stay put at the hotel, she might reappear suddenly. Yeah, neither property's safe right now. Don't worry about the hotel expenses. I'll cover them. I'll come find you after Lucas falls asleep tonight. I deliberately extended my stay in City C. During this time, Michael kept calling to ask about my return date. I prolonged each day intentionally, he couldn't risk taking them back home. Meaning he'd have to keep paying for their hotel stay as long as I delayed. After stretching this out for 2 weeks until Michael's patience wore thin, I finally returned. We swiftly signed divorce papers and I moved into Building 12. Michael struggled to contain his glee post-divorce. Within days, he brought Emily and Lucas back home. I orchestrated a chance meeting with Emily at the community gates. She paled upon seeing me. Stammering, Olivia? Where are you headed? Home. I smiled. What brings you here? Masking panic with false composure. She offered. Michael took pity on us. Let us stay with him. Feigning surprise at her act, I countered, don't call him brother-in-law anymore. We're divorced. Gasping theatrically, she pressed, but Michael never mentioned this. You should have consulted family. What difference does your knowledge make? I dismissed, walking away. It's done. His affairs don't concern me. Home security footage later showed them embracing. I nearly died seeing Olivia earlier. Emily whispered to Michael. Thankfully she bought my act and won't interfere now. Freedom at last. Michael grinned, fingers threading through her hair. We can do whatever we want. Their entangled bodies sank into the couch. But true freedom? With David still breathing? They'd forgotten his existence. Time for reminders. Despite loathing David, I staked out his apartment complex. Late that night, he appeared with a voluptuous woman clinging to him, explaining his absence from Emily's life this time. My neck chilled at his approach. Phantom knife pains resurfacing. Only physical disadvantage stopped me from strangling him. Sister-in-law? David sneered, deliberately using the provocative title. What brings you here? Maintaining composure, I stated my parents hosted Emily and Lucas. But with my divorce from Michael, you should reclaim your family. The arrangement's improper now. Why? He shrugged, spit hitting pavement. Her family home's fine. She cramps my style with other women anyway. Nauseated, I pushed harder. I've moved out. Only Michael remains with them, distracted by his companion. David mumbled dismissively while steering her inside. That's so kind of you to help take care of them both. I fumed. Oh, he's been extremely kind. That's why my sister Emily parades around in lingerie for him daily. And your son keeps calling him daddy. As expected, David immediately shoved the woman off his lap. His eyes turned bloodshot like a rabid animal. What the hell are you implying? Has Michael been screwing my wife? I shrugged. Your guess is as good as mine. Without another word, David stormed out toward our neighborhood. The woman shot me a dirty look before leaving, timing it perfectly. I checked the security feed. The camera showed David pounding on Michael's door like a madman. Inside, Michael and Emily froze mid-conversation. Though not caught in the act, Emily's sheer nightgown left little to imagination. When Michael opened the door, David bulldozed past him. The sight of Emily's revealing outfit made him snap. He backhanded her so hard she stumbled. You filthy whore. Cheating on me with your own brother-in-law? Emily clutched her cheek, sobbing. It's not true. I'm just staying with Olivia while she's away. We're not alone. Michael jumped in, voice shaking. David. I'd never touch my sister-in-law. Olivia let them crash here out of pity. Their pathetic duet only enraged David further. He slapped Emily's other cheek before spinning around to deck Michael. The office worker crumpled like tissue paper. You think I'm stupid? David sneered. Olivia and Michael are already divorced. Keep lying through your teeth. Michael scrambled up, nose bleeding. Even if we split, I'd never sleep with your wife. I'm just helping them out. I almost pitied Michael's stupidity. Had the punches scrambled his brains? David's fist connected again. When Michael fumbled for his phone screaming, "I'll call 911. David hesitated. No evidence. 3 DUI convictions made him cautious. Fine. David spat, jabbing fingers at both. Consider this the appetizer. Main course is coming. The moment he left, Emily rushed to ice Michael's face. They tenderly nursed each other's wounds, a grotesque parody of domestic bliss. Watching their panic eased the phantom knife slash on my throat. But not enough. Only their deaths could erase that memory. On screen, Emily trembled. What if he comes back? Relax. Michael croaked, stroking her hair. He's all bark. Mention cops and he flees like a... Her whimper cut him off. I'm still scared. He held her close, murmuring empty comforts until her tears dried. David stayed quiet for days. The calm before the storm. Just when I thought David had given up harassing Michael and Emily, he showed up at their doorstep again with his crew. They didn't lay a hand on Michael or Emily. Instead, 2 men restrained Michael, tying him tightly to a chair, forcing him to watch as David assaulted Emily. Emily fought back, screaming and hitting him. This is assault. You know. David slapped her across the face, snarling. You're my wife. I can do whatever I want. The depravity of it made Michael shout. Even if she's your wife, forcing her is still marital rape. It's illegal. David released Emily, strode over, and struck Michael too, gripping his jaw. You care so much about her, admit you've been sleeping with her. Michael struggled against the ropes, chair rattling as he yelled. Stop making up lies. When Michael refused to confess, David didn't waste more words. He raped Emily right in front of him. She screamed and clawed at him. But it was useless. After finishing, David left with a casual wave. Emily numbly untied Michael before collapsing into his arms, sobbing so violently he nearly cried too. This nightmare repeated every few days. David invented new ways to torment them, even filming the abuse to blackmail them into silence. Their suffering was unbearable. I'd grown sick of David's slow burn tactics. Worse, I couldn't stand seeing my parents alive and well anymore. They came for me again. My mother slapped me the moment she saw me, trembling with rage. You vile creature. Divorcing Michael without telling us. Yet you rushed to snitch on Olivia hiding with him? My father swung his cane at me, roaring. Do you want your sister dead? Now David terrorizes them daily, is that your plan? Honestly, compared to having my throat slit in my past life, their blows felt painless. But the humiliation burned. I laughed bitterly, firing back. Funny, my gossip might kill her. But you never cared if bringing them home would kill me. Did you? They froze, then spat. We had no choice. You're the older sister, you should sacrifice for Olivia. Same old excuse they'd weaponized since childhood to force my endless sacrifices. Not anymore. I glared coldly. You're just cowards hiding behind family. Pathetic. Walking away. I felt nothing for them now. Their role in my murder and pushing Michael toward Olivia in my past life hardened my resolve. I didn't seek David out. After days of stalking his routines, I intercepted him alone on a surveillance-less route. He looked startled but turned, demanding. Why divorce Michael suddenly? What do you know? I understood his paranoia. He'd never caught Michael and Olivia in the act. clinging to denial while torturing them. But this monster deserved death too. Feigning anguish, I handed him the damning security footage I'd saved. I wanted to spare you this pain, I sniffled. This camera was for burglars. But I found, just watch. Then divorce Olivia. Let those cheaters rot together. David frowned, squinting at the video. The more he watched, the paler and redder his face became, trembling uncontrollably. It was the video of Michael and Emily's first intimate encounter in the kitchen. Though David had suspected their affair, witnessing it firsthand shattered his last shred of delusion. No man with macho pride like David could stomach seeing his wife with another man. His dignity felt trampled under their feet. Seizing the moment, I casually remarked, "Blame my parents. If they hadn't sent Olivia and Lucas to hide from you at my place, Michael and I wouldn't have divorced." David's jaw clenched audibly. I added fuel. "You should file for divorce before Emily betrays you again." "I'm not weak like you." David spat venomously. "I won't grant them divorce, I'll make them pay with their lives." Through some pretext, David lured my parents to Michael's house. The moment they entered, his accomplices tackled them to the floor. Their shock doubled upon seeing Michael and Emily bound, then tripled when spotting Lucas restrained too. My parents wept, realizing David's madness extended even to his own son. Their doom was sealed. True to form, David showed no mercy. He slit Michael's throat first, the man choking on filthy socks until his terrified eyes glazed over. My parents remained indifferent to Michael's death, though Emily wailed for him. Then came Lucas. I'll never understand how David could kill his own child. Until his roar explained everything. "You slut. Who knows how many men you've had? This bastard might not even be mine. Lucas is yours." Emily screamed through hysterical sobs. David sneered. "Better safe than sorry." Advancing toward the petrified boy, Lucas died wide-eyed, mirroring his aunt's indifference toward my past suffering. My parents alternated between pleading and cursing as their turn came. Their throats met the same blade. Emily descended into mad laughter watching her parents bleed out, but met her end regardless. I departed for business in the south, smashing the surveillance phone against rocks before hurling it into the ocean. The number had been deactivated since my divorce anyway. My new burner phone, prepped months earlier through mobile hotspots, would never be traced. I did all this just in case the police came looking for me. But it turned out I'd worried for nothing. David and his accomplices were quickly apprehended. They confessed to everything they'd done. Given the horrific nature of the crimes, all three received death sentences. The police simply followed routine procedure to have me identify the bodies and gave me a brief interview. After that, it was over. I hurriedly arranged their funerals, sold off whatever property I could liquidate, and moved to a city I actually liked to buy a home and settle down. Under endless skies and drifting clouds, I began to live out the rest of my days.